How many diapers could he possibly use? Oh, that's not so much. So? I had no idea.
Welcome to Circuit Breakers. My name is Dallas, here with Taylor, and we're going to be talking about the Miami E-Prix, which was meh.
Dallas, third time's the charm, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Look, you know by this point that we get to the meat of it right up front. And I think there's been mixed reviews as to the Miami Hard Rock Stadium E-Prix. But Dallas, I think between the two of us, we unanimously kind of realized that this track sucked.
It did, but silver lining, it was not Homestead. And I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah, but you know what's even worse is like we had more to talk and laugh about at Homestead than we did at this entire Miami race.
That's also a very good counterpoint. Yeah, I mean, that mixed with the rain, I thought we were going to have a full-blown safety car race. As everything went wrong in Miami. Like, this is a cursed town for the electric circus.
I just don't know. Like, I do know. I know why Formula E is so desperate to shove Miami down our throats. They're like, we can be in a cool, big city that the rest of the world knows about, except for you chose the city that's known for, like, Grand Theft Auto, right? Like, that's not the United States. Like, Miami, frankly, in my opinion, is like a very vapid and superficial representation of like what a U.S. city is and where we would prefer people to race. And, you know, like conceptually, this was a great race. Like, I'm glad that there is now a permanent circuit that they could be like, hey, we're going to race at the Miami Hard Rock Stadium because we did it. But the other issue, Dallas, which I'm sure you recognize too, is that the racing wasn't that interesting. Also, the weather, which, I mean, like, Miami has unpredictable weather. I don't think anyone expected it to be this unpredictable. Mm-hmm. That was crazy. It's like the coldest it's been in Miami in since a century. But on top of that too, nobody went to it.
Yeah.
Nobody went to this race. People in Miami had the opportunity to go see race cars at the Hard Rock Stadium, and nobody showed up.
That was the first thing I noticed as they were going through the starting grid. It's like these grandstands are like 50% full. And it's like a tale of two audiences, right? People from around the world are tuning in to watch the race. To your point, they hear Miami and they're like, I know of this town. Miami's Scarface. It's the land of Lambos. It's all these places. Cool. You take a Miami native and you tell them, hey, there's going to be this worldwide championship electric racing series that's coming to your city. And the residents are like, meh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like the inverse of Portland. You ask anyone, where is Portland, Oregon? They're not going to know. But people in Portland and the surrounding like 3 or 4 states and British Columbia in Canada were like, hell yeah, like I'll be there. And it was packed. So I'd be curious to see how the league would look at it as a success, because we don't get viewership numbers. We don't know how many people have tuned in. But just taking what we saw on TV, in addition to they're running with this green screen superimposed leaderboards, and they did kind of like a Vice City thing.
It just felt so tacky, man. Yeah. Like, it was so tacky. And like I think the part that also like blew me away. Look, of course we Pacific Northwesterners are going to sit down and be like, Portland was so much better in every way. Realistically, yes, Portland was better in a multitude of ways. I actually did some research. I was like, when we did the doubleheader in Portland, what was the average viewership of a single day? Like how many tickets? And it was like 200 to 220,000 tickets that they suspected that they sold. Miami was around 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
So half as much as Portland, a no-name, tiny little city that's known for like selling stupid donuts.
Yep.
That's the difference. Is like community for this sport matters. You have to go and meet the fans where they want to be met, not force fans to go to Miami, because we're not going to show up in Miami. We're not. We're just not. It's a nightmare. Like the last place I would want to go and visit to go see a Formula E race, frankly, is Miami. Like traveling there, nightmare. Staying there, nightmare. Watching the event, uninteresting. I think Formula E thinks that the viewership is like the people that like Formula One, but the reality is like the people that like Formula E are the people that buy an electric car. Mm-hmm. Like they're not nightclub like Coke dealers
that own an AMG that plays more towards the Formula One crowd. I think that was the big allure and the like big marquee banner of like, it's the same track that Formula One races at. Kind of.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, which, oh my God, we didn't even talk about that yet. They made it a go-kart track. Like they did the shortest possible circuit, which means that the lap times in dry running conditions were under a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas, they were going to do 39 races. This would have been basically a half an hour race.
Yep.
If there was no yellow cards. We got lucky that it rained because it padded us out an hour and made it so that when I woke up this early to watch it, it didn't piss me off.
Right.
Like every possible moment they had to like make this a significant, like a more significant event, they went for like the cheap out version of stuff, right? Like they spent all of their money on bringing out like celebrities to see this thing and have celebrities talk about how cool this was, but they didn't actually care about the people, the fans, the people who actually show up, right? And yeah, so it's just, I don't know, dude. It's just nothing about this felt good. And I remind you, this is the third time now that they have tried to do Formula E in Miami. And every single time has been kind of a meltdown, except for the street circuit, which was one of, I think, season one. But honestly, that's so long ago. It was such different cars. You can't go back and just do that again.
Right. Maybe they looked at it from a strategic standpoint that this weekend was like a write-off. Like, think of all the conferences that are held in Miami. So businesses and individuals have an excuse, a tax write-off, a business expense to travel down to Miami. They're not going to the conference. They say they are, but they're not going. They're hitting the clubs, they're hitting the beach, they're renting Lamborghinis, whatever. And so maybe they just look at this of like, this race is for our image. And we don't care about the fans in this one because the allure of Miami as an idea, they're selling this idea that sexy South Beach electric cars are coming to it. So tune in. And I think it fell pretty flat on its face.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just a total errant miscalculation on Formula E's part again. Like back to back struggles with this state's and this city's audience coming to see these drives. And, you know, I know that they're trying to find other spaces for them to race in the US, like a West Coast race and an East Coast race. But I think that they're trying very, very hard. What they need to understand is that Americans, like you and I, we will drive 3 or 4 hours to go see a race that's worth it. You know, like I would happily drive to Portland to go see that. I would happily take the trip to Watkins Glen. I would happily, you know, like there's so many iconic US racetracks that actually, I think, pull more value and interest to showcase the technology and what these cars are capable of doing than trying to show that we can race at the Formula One circuit that no one likes also.
It's kind of the league being in a rock and a hard place because for so long they've been reinventing the wheel of racing. It's like the most unique racing series in the world. But I think they're trying to like extend it out, and like Miami is this perfect example of being at a place that's familiar, but still different. Like we're not going to get a Watkins Glen race. It's too traditional. It's too old money. We need the sexy new, it's electric, it's different. And so we need to do it different, and doing it different in a lot of ways works. And in a lot of ways, Formula E does that different very well. But in other ways, it's like, maybe stick to what works, especially when it comes to selecting venues for races.
I'm going to tell you right now, if Formula E wanted to, they could 100% race at Laguna Seca. Like if they could have made it happen by this point.
Yeah.
They could have 100% raced at Laguna Seca. They could have 100% raced at, like Road America or some, Ohio race circuit. Like these things were very doable and very possible. And the only reason that they have not is because of the fact that they're chasing this kind of fame of the US markets as like a hub of glitz and glamour and consumerism. And I just think it's a total miscalculation.
Well, let me pose it this way. As a European, having never been to the United States before and just going off of what you know about places, would you rather go to Miami or Ohio?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, like Miami, but am I going to vacation or am I going to go see motorsports? Because I would much rather go to Ohio and experience a much more meaningful connection to the sport that I love than to go to Miami and be incredibly disappointed.
But I think we're more in the realms of like the super fan. We care about the sport. We're there for the sport itself. But like for a casual person that just wants to have a trip and just a little part of their itinerary is they do get to go watch this race of something they know very little about. That's where I think the allure is of these.
You think that people are going to Formula E races is like happenstance on their vacation? They're like, I'm in Miami. Oh, look at that. Formula E has a race in Miami. I'm going to go check that out. Like day of. That's what like Jeff Dodds was trying to like play this off as. It's like, oh, the American market doesn't like to, they show up last minute to stuff and all that. I'm like, no.
But it's the wrong sub-market that you're trying to get people to come to.
I don't think that there's a tremendous amount of Europeans coming to the United States at all anymore. Frankly, don't do it. It's not worth it. Let alone Miami. For fuck's sake. Like, yeah. I mean, please do not do that to yourself. But the other part of it is like this race should primarily be for the U.S. market, right? Like this should be for to spread and engage with a fan base of the American audience, right? Like the way that you will do that is to be in areas where one, people will be interested in either A, motorsport, or B, like EV motorsports or like EV technology. Cool. That, Venn diagram is pretty niche already. But you know what? Like, dude, if I'm in Ohio and I love race cars and Formula E is racing on a weekend between when IndyCar starts up and when, I don't know, like the 24 Hours of Lemons race or something in my regional circuit, like I'm going to go see it. Mm-hmm. That's a cool thing to go see if it's marketed to me, if I know about it. But that's the issue is like that connection to the audience is just not making it yet. And it's not being taken seriously as like I think starting next year, I think the Gen 4 car is making a lot of people shut up. A lot of critics and skeptics of what the car can do. It's making a lot of people shut up. So I think there'll probably be more curiosity to go see crazy races, like just see these cars perform than ever before. So you could throw a dart at the United States, find a circuit, and people will probably show up more than they did to this Miami race.
Well, this brings up an interesting question with the oncoming of Gen 4. If they have a Miami race in the Gen 4 era, do you think more people show up?
Yes. Oh, I think also just consistency. Like, coming back to this circuit. I didn't even calculate that in my Portland, experience. Right. Having repetition is huge for it. So yeah, I'm sure that the next time they come back to Miami's circuit, there's going to be a larger audience. But also, like, I just want to remind everyone, the racing wasn't that good. And I think the wet race actually made it more interesting than it would have been dry. Just because, like, even looking at qualifying laps, it just didn't feel like a fast or like exciting course.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't know.
Perfect opportunity to probe you, the user, or the viewer,
the audience,
the user of this sport and of this podcast, and the viewer of this sport and of this podcast. Let us know in the comments. Did you like this race? Or are you on board with us? Because this is our perspective. It's not right. It's just what we think.
Yes, as red-blooded Americans with the love of European zero-emission, net carbon neutral motorsport, we are tired of seeing this play out so negatively for our home turf. Now, look, that's as negative as I really want to be coming into this race, but I'm going to be honest. I had some pretty bummer takes on a lot of this race. So sit down. I'm not going to be as grumpy as I was starting this off because there was some cool stuff and good stuff that did happen because of this unfortunate racing scenario. Dallas, we had a free practice rookie test, and Zach O'Sullivan did pretty dang good, as well as Teo Porcher. And strangely, there was one other driver at that rookie test that really managed to sit around that kind of like consistent third fastest, Pepe Marti. Now, look, I know regulations change, but I kind of feel maybe someone who's flipped a car and scored points in a Formula E race as a full-time driver maybe doesn't need the same support to get into a racing seat as maybe the other rookies that this test is designed for do. That's just, I recognize that it's like the regulations changed. They're like, oh, hey, we can put Pepe in here and now we don't have to give the opportunity to someone else. But that's that's kind of, I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me. And more importantly, the other rookies that took place in this test were faster than Pepe.
Well, I mean, I'll stay on Pepe and I'll stay on Cairo. They do things differently and not necessarily better. So maybe they thought this was an easy out in juggling, dealing with Dan and the problems that he's been having, which I'm still pissed off about.
Dude, we could talk about Cairo for so long later on.
We usually do
have
on these episodes. Yes.
We're gonna talk about Cairo a bit, because when is it ever easy with them, right? But Dallas, yeah, I mean, rookie sessions is pretty valuable. It looked like there were some decent times that are being set up. It's nice to see names like Zach O'Sullivan and Teo Porcher showing up because they are more notable names in that rookie ladder. Mm-hmm. As we've seen with Felipe Drugovich, not all of them are going to get into Formula One. And sometimes when you recognize that there's other avenues for performing in top level motorsport, it doesn't always have to just be Formula One. Don't ever give up on your dream, but Formula E seems pretty cool. I mean, that's as a growing option.
That's what Maloney did, right? Didn't he just make the commitment? It's like, no, I'll race in Formula E.
Yeah, and I actually had much higher hopes for him than we've been seeing. I recognize that it's a Lola Yamaha, but yeah, I Maloney, like, thank you for keeping it clean. You're changing the tone as Lucas deGrassi's sidekick. You're trying to melt his heart.
Well, I will say this too, with the rookie sessions that we get, it's great scouting for us. Like who's that next Beckman out there? Who's that star memeified persona that we're going to glorify in future seasons to come?
I mean, more than Dallas, there was one thing that this race did bring, and it is the crazy top to bottom absurdity that trying to understand and predict this series is. This season's nuts. We've had 3 separate winners. The entire pecking order, top to bottom, has just been everywhere. Like, we have almost had a different podium. Of the 3 podiums, the only person who's been consistently on the podium is Oliver Rowland, which was twice. In different positions, but like, and Nick Cassidy. I don't know what I'm saying. Nick Cassidy won and got second. But it's, where were they for this race? Absolutely nowhere.
Yep.
Like, nuts. This, you know what? I think that it is fair to say that this race was kind of a wash.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Porsche's back. Yeah. I don't want to chalk anything up to like that. Like, oh, Evans is back. Yeah. Every title protagonist was in like P15 and beyond. Right. They only, like, the competition at the front of the field was tight, and yes, it required a lot of technical skill, but the competition wasn't there. The competition was weirdly like P20 to P14.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were battling on their own in 2 separate pods, and it, partially because of the weather. Like, I don't know what it was, but I've never seen these cars look like they're going so slow. And that's even when there was a torrential downpour in Shanghai.
Right.
But we had Joel Eriksson P4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, congrats. That's an amazing feat for your third, like, full season race. Or I'm sorry, your third race in your first time full season seat. It's great. That's a great outcome. He's been in the points. He's a very calm, consistent driver. So, Joel, congratulations. That's awesome. You did not have Jake Dennis attacking you. You did not have, Oliver Rowland squeezing you into the wall. You did not have the combat and the strategy and the wits that this season actually represents. So it was hard for me to really sit down and be like, oh, these results were justified. It was hard for me justified. It was hard for me to sit down and think like, oh, these results are justified representations of what the season's going to look like going forward. Do I think that Porsche is a threat? I think they're always a threat, but I think they're the biggest threat when no one else shows up.
Right. Well, and we can look at it too. This Miami circuit was new to the Gen3 Evo era. So they had to figure things out. We got Jeddah. We got the doubleheader in Jeddah coming up. I think that we'll see more of the typical, like when the season is said and done, we'll look back. Jeddah is going to look more like the final standings than this race.
Yeah.
In so many ways, it was an outlier for basically every single factor. It was an outlier race.
Yeah, we could have just not had this race, and I don't think anything would have changed.
Yeah.
I was stoked. I will be honest. I was really stoked and glad to see Nico Moeller in a top spot.
Mm-hmm.
It was good to see him take the reins of the team and actually put on his back, because Porsche hasn't really had that in a driver since DaCosta, and DaCosta took like 3 years of incubating and training Pascal to grow up enough resentment for him to then perform at his peak. Nico Muller, it's been 3 races.
Yeah, look at this though. DaCosta crawled so Muller could run. Porsche realized that putting that pressure on a single person to train an entire model was not the best way to do it.
Oh God, it's the end of the world. Like, it's just, every day I turn on the news, I'm just like, oh no.
But then that one feel-good story, Nico Muller is doing his thing.
Yes, Nico Muller, you're keeping me going, my man. Hey, we got the Mahindras both tagging along in the points now. Actually, Nick de Vries, the point of the spear in that team. I'm going to chalk this one up to my pep talk from last week.
Yeah, great job.
After I said that, I noticed a lot of people echoing, like, hey, maybe we should lighten up on Nick de Vries. Sharoom Chandok has not lightened up on Nick de Vries. He was talking about Nick de Vries, I think, in the first couple laps of the race, where he was like trying to communicate what his first round opening move was. And I think he just like called it like brain failure or something like that. And I was just like, oh my God, dude, Shroom hates this guy. What the?
Well, he's coming from F1, and Nick de Vries has a big old stain on his F1 career. So
God,
Karoon's not going to forget that.
Yeah, but Nick de Vries, really competent in qualifying. Qualifying in general, I think I actually have something to say about qualifying. Usually we don't do that. Mm-hmm. I have such a love-hate relationship with the Count, Sebastian Buemi. Count Buemi is such a sharp, like, quick and intelligent driver. And then he just does the dumbest things I've seen someone who's been racing in this series since day one do. He looked like a grandma who was lost in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. And he just cuts across like 4 lanes of traffic into Ito on his push lap, trying to get into the duels. Ito was like on track to getting into those duels. So I'm only frustrated just because my star driver was affected by it. But in the end, who's to say what would have really happened? It was all salvaged. And also the Count managed to pull it back. He's got to stop just like doing these dumb things that send him to the back of the of the course on the first, like before the racing has even started. He's starting P20 now. Yeah,
and he's spinning out behind the safety car as they're trying to get going. I thought that was going to be just like setting the tone that this was going to be the sloppiest race we've ever seen. But it really kind of was just Buemi just getting used to the track at the beginning of that race. And he came back where he finished I
think P8.
Yeah, he was in the points.
He's in the points. I think P7. Yeah, P7. Which means he clawed his way back to the top after slipping on a banana peel because he was texting while playing Mario Kart. He's doing some sandbagging or something. I don't know. But he's making the races significantly harder for himself than if he were to just do it, you know? I mean, and don't fuck up Mortara. He's not done anything to you. Let him race.
I mean, vampires historically are seen as misunderstood creatures, so we can't really get into that undead mind.
Well, Dallas, what else? What else we got to talk about?
What about your boy Joel showing up like a strong race? You said earlier that, you know, it's maybe because he wasn't running with the typical front runners, but he was battling Pascal and Muller. He was holding his own. He ended up losing those positions because of attack mode, but he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about a cool, consistent, reliable driver. Just go get to the end of the race, make it stick, you know? Like, you know what it kind of reminded me of? This is going to sound bad because his career did not age well, but this was kind of an Oliver Turvey drive.
Elaborate.
This was maximize efficiency, keep it clean, and follow through, you know? If you are going to lose a place to Pascal, you're going to gain a place to Pascal. If you're going to get into a fight with Nick DeVries, you're going to make sure he's overspending. Don't get, you know, taunted into making silly moves. Let people make silly moves and respond. And I think it was a very patient drive, and it showed like a tremendous amount of maturity, especially as like a full-time rookie. It was I mean, as we saw from Felipe Drugovich, it's that easy to lose it all, right? And in all of the situations that Joel Eriksson was in, that could have happened, it didn't. So I mean, it was, you know, I say Oliver Turvey. Stoffel Van Dorn was also a very, you know, connected driver in the same way, probably a little more flattering because he didn't end his career in a Neo.
True.
But I thought very, very, very strong and mature drive from Joel Eriksson. And frankly, we'll get into it later. Big fan of the points that were able to be manifested from that one for myself.
Yep. I love the progression that you have gone through in a very short amount of time, going back to the season preview episode to now. It's like, are we talking about, or no, not we, is Taylor talking about the same person?
He is. And you know what's crazy? I tried everything in my power to sell Joel from my fantasy team. And every single person I would have traded him for has scored less points and has less overall return on investment. So I'm cool. Like, I'm chill. In fact, I think Joel will go on to race multiple seasons.
Yeah. If he keeps this up, for sure. 100%. Now, what about this other rookie who just was unfortunate in Felipe Drugovich?
Man, it was about to be a really, really hype race for Drugo. Like, not only was he fighting to the death in the duels, made it to the very, very last round, just narrowly missed out, but he was just chomping at the bit to claw out that lead and make it stick. Andretti had a whole new livery, which frankly I'm pissed about because now there's too many yellow cars. We went from having one yellow car and being stoked about it to having like 3, and they all look the same, and it's stupid. Andretti, no one is going to use your AI. We don't want it. Go back to the red car, please. Red car. It's dumb. Drugovich did great. He looked like he is a future world champion in the making with the tenacity that he had at the wheel. Like, I could see the hunger to really succeed, and unfortunately, it did end up a little too maybe like overzealous when he was getting, because the other driver, who is oftentimes recognized as being a hungry, passionate, overzealous driver, was right in front of him, and they were very much tangled in a duel for positions that ultimately neither one of them would have been able to hold with the efficiency mark.
Right.
And that was DaCosta.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember. There was that pass on the main straight that DaCosta made in attack mode and did like the most ballsy swerve. I don't know if that was in front of Drugovich, but I mean, yeah, it's one aggressive driver that may at this point, aside from Dan Ticktum, may be the most cursed driver on the field. He's just been at the wrong place at the wrong time so far this season.
I think he's putting himself in those places. He is a free spirit of a driver. He is tiptoeing around death at all points. And you know what? That's it's gotten him very far in his career. Mm-hmm. I mean, we think about the overtake that he did with Jev in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Where he just whipped his nuts out. And like,
it had hints of that pass.
Yeah, it's like almost like his signature move where he drives up directly at you and then basically just turns into you and you have to stop or else you both crash. It's a flawless action. Nick DeVries was not able to capitalize the same way that DaCosta was able to. Just make sure that you are floor down and you are within 1/3 car length of the other person when you start to make that move. Because that's the only way you're going to really scare them.
But so that's my point, though. DaCosta knows how to be ballsy smartly, efficiently.
Yeah.
But he's just ended up in just the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, starts relatively well in that Jaguar, but this was his first race in the points, and he finished P8. He started P3.
Honestly, I thought that this was going to be DaCosta's race. Like, especially when I was seeing the race unfold, I was like, oh, DaCosta's going to win this race. Event happens, and I was like, Mitch Evans is going to win. Mitch Evans hasn't been anywhere this entire time, but he managed to make the same moves stick more effectively. When I saw the replay of it, I was like, of course that happened. Based on how hard they're racing in the wet weather that no one is succeeding in, of course that kind of thing is going to happen. It just was, unfortunately, the two drivers that it didn't want it to happen to.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's racing.
Yeah. That's bummer. It was an opportunity for a really, really cool narrative for two drivers that I think have very large fandoms to really finally celebrate, but yeah, just overcooked. And you know, in return, we get a Nico Muller strong podium and Mitch Evans win. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, whatever. This race doesn't count.
You know what does count? Nick Cassidy, you saw it or not, shaved his head. From was it a bet with his engineer? If he won,
it was a
Mexico
bet with
City?
Jev, I believe.
Oh, was it? Oh,
I think he bet Jev. I suggested that we maybe cover this as a teaser from the Mexico City race, but both of us were like, "Oh, we can't verify this source. Like, we don't know this is true. We don't want to put this in our show and then look like idiots." And then it did come true, and boy. You know what? Hit it, Dallas. Holy moly.
I did this in COVID. I shaved my head and it was the worst thing I ever did.
Yeah. I think weirdly, I actually think of all the shaved head drivers, Nick Cassidy kind of looks the coolest and the toughest, but he does look like an escaped convict from like a cell block in like a space station.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's doing 12 life sentences for space robbery.
Space robbery, orbiting Jupiter's third moon.
Yeah. So what have we done when a driver shaves his head? And
I also want to say this shaved head is much easier to digest than DaCosta's.
So, with the help of Pascal.exe, we had to take our own liberties to see what Nick Cassidy would look like with different hairstyles. So let's see what we got.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh, a little party from down under. Down under.
It looks like he needs he races quads.
Oh, you know what? New Zealand is not the same as Australia.
It's still down under.
Do they have is that like a regular haircut in New Zealand? I'm guessing it's probably not. They're a little more chill. They're very
like closely intertwined though.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Anyone from New Zealand, let us know if this is sacrilegious to put a very, very explicit mullet on a kiwi.
Someone's gonna comment like, "We all have mullets, mate."
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we have here? Oh, we got some. What's this, like Britney Spears?
It's Britney, bitch. This is like a reverse of her shaving her head. We went from one fresh scalp to another.
It's easy copy and paste for Pascal. We also have the emo Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. Now we just need to shill out a couple of dollars and evaporate a few lakes to get him to do the dance.
Yeah, we got to put it in a video and really use up some resources.
Yeah.
What else? We got. This was your brainchild. You want to break this down?
Yeah. Street Fighter Guile. There's something about the look of Nick Cassidy and all of the footage that I've seen, or not the footage, the casting that I've seen for the Street Fighter live action movie, where I said Nick Cassidy may be a good choice as well.
Indeed. And then the final one, and this probably is more accurate. We just don't see what he looks like when he has his helmet on and he's casting Warlock spells, but there's his little sigil.
Oh, the arcane. Yeah, like right on the top of his head. That's actually where it's been stored.
It comes down.
Yeah.
when it spells are cast.
He puts makeup on it, and then mid-race it starts to burn through. Yeah.
So yeah, we will be doing a community post, a little poll to give whatever your favorite Nick Cassidy hairdo is. But yeah, let's move on to
that sigil right there is exactly why he's got a cook. He mind controlled Sebastian Buemi. He possessed him into crashing into Mortara in the qualifying and then spinning out on the first lap of the race. That thing was glowing right on his forehead.
Yeah, Warlocks don't like vampires.
Yeah, he's got him locked.
What's next, Taylor?
Oh, well, I don't know why you asked. We got Fantasy League points, baby. Hey, it was a pretty good week for me. So far, there have been really, really big winners and like decent everyone else. This week, we had a colossal winner with my boy Andrew advancing 4 positions in a single race with a whopping 46 point haul with Mitch Evans and Nico Muller. That's pretty wild. Hey, you got some points too. Look at you down there.
Yeah, I got some points, but can we really lay into Cairo and Dan Ticktum right now? Because he is 0 for 3. He is DNF for 3 races. I don't have a single point from him. I thought that this was going to be his breakout year, and I'm pretty pissed about it.
He'll be around, man. He's just got to get his head on straight.
I don't know if that's possible. I mean, I have been a Dan Ticktum apologist for so long, and I love the guy.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get almost as ticked off as Dan Ticktum himself. Now, I can never achieve that level of rage, but the fans are starting to get a little testy, Dan. What are we doing? Can you give him a pep talk for Jeddah?
Dude, I tried. That was the almost the biggest thing I talked about last episode, is giving a call out directly to Dan. And unfortunately, the entire fan base also has kind of turned on Dan again. I see a lot more I don't like Dan than I see I like Dan in the comments now. Dan, that's not how we feel. We want you to succeed. So just understand that. But I'm just like, man, give the guy a fucking break.
Maybe I should give him a pep talk. I got a pep talk for him. Super simple.
Why don't you send him a cameo?
Yeah. Hey, this is Dallas from Circuit Breakers, a Formula E podcast. This is for Dan. Dan, it comes to my understanding that you've been struggling with racing. So I'm just going to give you my pointers as a casual fan podcast host. When the lights go out, go. At turns, slow down. Out of the apex, accelerate. Listen to your engineers. They know what they're doing. Don't DNF. All right, love you. Bye.
If there's anything I know about Dan Ticktum, if he were to see that, he would get arrested.
He'd go on a spree.
He's gonna do something that's gonna get him arrested.
But if he
because that's gonna sit in his mind, and he's gonna go across the street, and it's gonna be like an old woman in like a Volkswagen, and he's gonna like piss on her car. It's gonna be your fault. He's gonna sit there and, try to explain to his fans that he got this cameo from.
You said the negativity was over when we were done talking about Miami as a location. He's gonna channel this. He's gonna channel this, and he's going to go to Jeddah, and he's going to end up P5 or greater in both of the races, and we'll come back here and be like, what are we talking about? Dan Ticktum never left. He was just booting up the first 3 races.
Oh, God damn it.
Now he's on. It'll happen. It'll happen.
Okay.
But in this moment right now, I'm getting a little impatient because I
honestly, maybe that is the move. Everything else that people are trying is not working. Like, look, Dan Ticktum apologized to the Formula E officials. Like, there was an apology represented. He said, "Hey, I don't hate your guys' guts. I just hate the way that you do your job." And he had his team principal right behind him, Mr. O'Hagan. You see where we're coming from? Everyone's a little pissed off, right? No one's happy with the situation. We used our words to solve stuff, right? Cool. I don't even know what happened to Dan this race.
He just stopped.
Like he got like a puncture or something. There's something. So I don't even know what happened to Dan this race, frankly.
He came in for a puncture. He was racing Gunther against the pack of dogs at the beginning of the pack, getting blue flagged. And then my guess is just
all you had to say was racing Gunther.
Yeah. Who probably break urgent red card, but didn't. He found a Control-Alt-Delete in the steering wheel. Someone taught him a function for the buttons to keep racing.
You're gonna race Gunter, and it's a wet track. Your tires are toast, brother. Those things are getting slashed quick. That makes sense. Well, where Dan struggles, Cairo does somehow prevail.
This is a new thing for them.
Yeah, this is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this may be the most successful rookie that Neo Cairo ERT has had in, I don't know, a decade. Probably not, because there's like a gap of knowledge we have to them.
Well, let's just go like recent memory. Dan Ticktum was once a rookie. His best finish that season was P10 in a Neo. Sergio Setticamera didn't really do anything. David Beckman, as much as we love that little guy, he scored a point. But in 3 races, Pepe Marti has tripled what David Beckman did on the last race of the season last year. I think that is a fair...
And flipped a car.
And he flipped. Yeah. He's doing cool stuff.
He went viral. He went viral and then kept scoring points.
Mm-hmm.
So good on him. Now, I will be honest too. Sam Bird, I love you, man. Stop commenting on the rookies just because you were part of Taylor Barnard's. Just because you were part of Taylor Barnard's breakout season doesn't mean that every rookie is garbage compared to him. Stop being like, I don't know, this Pepe Martes, he seems good, but he's nothing compared to Barnard's first year. I was there. Like, stop commenting on that, all right?
When a dad coaches his son's little league team, he makes his kid the star player.
Yo,
This is normal
Sam Bird
behavior.
Sam Bird lost custody of that race seat.
He's still reliving the glory days.
That's right. Dallas, where do we even go from here?
We go straight to Pascal because we got some questions that we needed to address.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, diarrhea DNF. There was only one DNF.
Yeah, it was Dan. I don't want to talk about Dan anymore. I gave him his pep talk. Like he's going to come back at Jeddah and be a stud, and we're going to eat our words. And I'm going to go, I told you so.
He's going to have 2 chances to make it stick in a weekend. So we're going to be ready for it.
But I will tail off this little section. We're 3 races into the season, and Dan Ticktum by a mile is leading to get the sloppiest shorts award at the end of the season. And I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. But Pascal.exe questions, which the comment section is always open for you, the viewer, you, the listener. Leave a question, any sort of question you have for Pascal.exe. We will forward that question to it and it will out a response. Now let
it rip. But I do want to say, as time is going forward, we are becoming more and more concerned with AI. And we want everyone to know we will not be dueling Pascal.exe with any Grok interface or any Google Gemini interface. Okay. We will rise and fall with Pascal.exe.
Yep. We're in it to win it on. This is the horse in the AI race that we are putting everything on.
Yes.
Now,
so do not ask for Oliver Rowland and a G-string. Okay. We will not do it.
So the questions, we had 2 users, but 3 questions. Shout out to Harsh Sully, dropped a twofer, 2 questions, separate prompts. First question, why are Kiwis so good at racing Formula E? Pascal E has to say to that.
The Kiwi racing phenomenon. Trademark pending. New Zealand keeps accidentally producing elite Formula E drivers because the entire country is basically a driver development program disguised as a sheep farm. If you grow up learning to overtake tractors on blind corners at 6 a.m., wheel-to-wheel combat just feels normal. Emotional damage tolerance. New Zealand sports teaches you how to lose heroically, quietly, and then come back faster next time. That's Formula E's entire vibe. And finally, electric energy. They live on islands. They understand limited resources, efficiency, and surviving on vibes alone. Formula E just makes sense. In summary, Kiwis don't adapt to Formula E. Formula E feels like home.
Okay, well, that was kind of cringe, but what about the second question?
New Zealanders got vibes. The second question, will Dan Ticktum ever finish another race? Which is a really good question.
That is a good one to ask Pascal.
Short answer, yes. Long answer, yes. But it will be emotionally complicated. Dan Ticktum not finishing races isn't a lack of pace, it's Formula E expressing itself through him. He qualifies like a prophet. He races like a man being haunted by future yellow flags. After 3 rounds, he's leading the championship in potential, incidents, and what could have been. But eventually the chaos wheel will land on normal race. The safety cars will miss him, and Dan will accidentally finish P6 while everyone else is on fire. So yes, Dan Ticktum will finish another race. Formula E simply requires a blood sacrifice first.
His wires are starting to get crossed. He just thinks that Formula E is all about vibes and the occult.
we need to do a little bit more tuning on the model.
What you have to understand, Pascal, is that we have several different universes of the driver. It's a multiverse of drivers, okay? They're not all the same universe, okay?
And
Cassidy is in the Warlock universe, okay? But Dan Ticktum is in the Always Sunny in Philadelphia universe.
Well, we're frying its circuitry, and it just puts out vibes.
Jake Hughes is the time traveler from the coal mine. That one was much better. So thank God for that. What we got? Any more dollars?
Yeah. There's one more from SB10. He asks,
God.
how can you, Pascal.exe, tell the Porsche Gen 2 liveries apart?
Short answer, you can't. Long answer, you still can't, but with more explanation. During the Gen 2 era, Porsche ran liveries that all looked like the same car scene under slightly different lighting conditions. Here's how you identify them. If it's white with red accents, it's Porsche. If it's also white with red accents but feels angrier, it's still Porsche. If you think, didn't this look exactly like last season? Congratulations, you're correct. The changes were mostly microscopic, slight shade tweaks. Accent lines moved a few centimeters, and engineers insisting it was completely different this year. In summary, you don't tell Porsche Gen 2 liveries apart. You accept them like minimalist art, but faster. If you were confused, don't worry. So was everyone else.
What a cop-out answer.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that SB, you have concrete evidence that the liveries are different. And so I just want you to know that, Pascal, we trained it, so it is only good at bullshitting.
I will say, because there was a little winky face on when he left that comment. Stay tuned to SB10's channel. He's got something coming out at some point. So I think, Taylor, we're gonna get out of here. Unless you have any closing remarks.
No, man. I'm just ready for Diria at this point.
Jeddah?
Saudi. Jeddah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Diria. R.I.P. Diria. Yeah, it's Jeddah, and I'm stoked.
Jeddah, another F1 track, but not. We get the first attack charge race.
Oh, I forgot that existed.
Yeah. So it's coming back. Let me remind you, Jeddah was the first ever attack charge race. It's where it was unveiled last year.
Oh my gosh.
So we get that again. Maybe we'll get Penny Hughes getting sent back in time or forward in time. And who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Maybe he's going to prevent Pepe Marte from joining the series and getting the second Cairo seat.
Who knows? Time will tell.
That's what I'd do.
That race is the 13th and the 14th of February, doubleheader. Like I said earlier, Dan Ticktum is going to finish top 5 both races. I'm saying it right here. If I'm wrong, don't come back and tell me I'm wrong, because I will just ignore you and say that my life is better than yours, even though that is not true. Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, your life sucks, dude. So much worse than Dan Ticktum's, you idiot.
Shout out to It's Tricky. Did the intro music. Yeah, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. Taylor, I'll see you after Jeddah.
I'll see you then, my man.
Bye-bye.